Hi everyone! Today's hair video is inspired by the character of Margaery Tyrell from Game of Thrones. This is my attempt to copy her wedding hair from Season 5, but I'll also have my version of her purple wedding hairstyle linked in the underbar. I started off with a centered parting and used a curling iron to make some ringlets. Next, I divided my hair into two, with the lower section having a little less density, and I clipped the top section out of the way. My camera went a bit out of focus here, but all I'm doing is creating a small sideways Dutch braid with the hair on the underside. I suppose that if you wanted to, you could do a French version of this, or any kind of braid actually. Having this lower section tied up is really helpful for the next steps because it acts like a base and an anchor for all the pins that come later. And you can see here how I tuck the end of my braid around itself, almost as though I formed a braid bun. Here I've got two wefts of hair that I'm clipping in right above my Dutch braid, and I've used an iron to curl it so it'll match the rest of my hair. I know some of you have mixed feelings about extensions, but I didn't feel like I could go without them for this. If your hair is thicker and/or longer than mine, you probably won't need to do this step. Next, I separated some small pieces of hair from the front of my face for those signature Margaery twists, and I clipped them out of the way. After this, I made a horseshoe parting at the top of my head. I very carefully went through this section and did a light back comb, and then I used that hair to make a square knot, which I pinned down. Again, you can make any kind of bun here you like. I just decided I needed something that would act as an anchor for my little hair crown. I didn't have this accessory for my first version of Margaery's hair, so I was definitely excited to use it this time. And if you're wondering, I bought it last October from one of those pop-up Spirit Halloween stores. Here I'm starting on the left side of my head and I'm making a French rope twist. I've divided the hair into two and I'm wrapping the top section over the bottom before adding hair into it. If you're unfamiliar with rope twists or braids, please feel free to check out my braid dictionary, which will be linked in the underbar below. Once the twist was complete, I secured the ends with an elastic and wrapped it around the side of my crown a few times. I used a pin to secure the end in place and then did the exact same thing on the other side. So again, a French rope twist with hair being added to the top strand, an elastic at the ends, and then it's wrapped around the side of the crown. If you're doing this without a hair accessory, you can tie the two twists together or even wrap the twist around the bun at the crown. And here I'm just pulling up the two ends of the twists along with the end of my square knot bun and pinning them down in no particular direction. The rest of this hairstyle is all barrel curls, a technique I've used before, and I'll try to have at least one other video demonstrating this in the underbar. Basically, you start by taking sections of hair, wrapping them around your finger or fingers, while using pins to hold down the loops. It's actually a lot easier than it may initially seem, although I have to admit it's a bit time-consuming to do on oneself. You can see that I constantly had to double-check where I was going with my small mirror, even though normally I'm pretty good with feeling things out with my hands. I started on my left side and I very unintentionally made two rows of barrel curls, one on top of the other. I would have liked them to have been a bit more randomly placed on my head, but I think you get the idea. I tried to use 2 or 3 fingers when making the loops, that way they'd have maximum volume coming off my head, and I definitely utilized the braided section at my nape and the knotted bun at my crown as places to pin into. I also moved in a sideways motion going left to right, since it's kind of one of those styles that ends up settling all on one side. When I got close to my right temple, I twisted whatever hair was still undone backwards and I let it rest over my shoulder behind my ear. And then of course I went back in with my mirror and I adjusted any of the loops I felt needed some help. And that was it! I hope you enjoyed this very costumey hair idea video and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye!